of whether or not his trilogy was going to come to fruition. But I genuinely was surprised for that reason, because I was like, are they trying to save face, or are they? Yeah, like it's just shocking. I sounded like Smeagol. Should we talk about the Rian Johnson trilogy news coming back up?
Yeah, that was one of my topics.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's been confirmed that Rian Johnson's trilogy is still on.
Or at least he says so.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe him. Because he's been saying...
he tweeted that?
No, he said it in an interview.
Yeah.
Like, so they asked him, and he said, "Yeah, it's still on. I'm just doing other stuff."
Is he doing it to troll?
I don't think he would be allowed to say that by Disney. I think if it wasn't happening, Disney would tell him, "Hey, don't go and spread this, please."
Dude, I think they're so far up his ass, and he accepts it that he just doesn't even he has free reign to do whatever he wants and then gets to joke around however he wants.
I will say, is it bad that I'm a little bit I'm trying to be hopeful?
Dude, he's a good director in some things, but not Star Wars.
But here's the thing is, I think when it comes to the Skywalker trilogy, I don't think his creative license there was used properly. However, if you were to give him an entirely blank slate, whole new story, whole new characters, whole new era, generation, whatever, nowhere near touching anything that we know and love about familiar Star Wars as it is now, I feel a little bit like his creativity and his storytelling then could be different and better when it's not associated with the already developed Skywalker saga. Because he is such a good filmmaker. I just watched Knives Out for the first time after holding off for freaking ever because I refused to believe that he could make The Last Jedi and tank half of what we love about Star Wars and then make Knives Out, which has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was so salty. I was like, I'm not going to freaking watch this movie. I finally watched it. I was like, this movie is amazing. This movie is brilliant. What?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but as a person, from what I can depict from him, he weirds me out, on a personal standpoint, whether, you can separate the art from the person all day, sure. But he fucking weirds me out, dude. I would not want to sit in a room alone and talk to him. He'd probably say some weird shit.
Really?
But regardless of that though, I think Knives Out is kind of overrated. I think it was a good movie. I think it's way overrated, but he, in retrospect, Last Jedi was beautiful. He's not a terrible filmmaker, it's just what he did broke everyone so badly that they just hate him now, and don't even really care to look at anything else he does, like yourself. But I personally don't want to see him touch Star Wars anymore. He can go make any other film and then I'll watch it and see what I think. But I don't want him to touch Star Wars because I want someone else who loves Star Wars so much and has that look at what Favreau and Filoni did, dude. I want someone who loves Star Wars and can write a good story to do it.
I want Taika Waititi to have his own trilogy.
Dude, yeah, dude. Especially if he's doing Old Republic and it's just so boring, or it's way too serious and it doesn't have that Star Wars magic. I'm gonna be so pissed because everyone's been waiting for the, or no, you know what? So this is what I've been thinking about this the other day. How everyone loves Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Every movie that he's in is bad except for John Wick, and it's funny.
The Matrix is bad.
It got worse as it
well, yeah, but the first two are pretty good.
The fourth one
but his acting isn't very good in general.
No, he's not a fantastic actor.
He's not a good actor, but I love the guy. Dude, I'd watch all of his movies over and over again. It doesn't even matter, But I was thinking, I was like, how he always kind of gets these big blockbuster roles, and they always end up failing on him in a way. Matrix is what helped him break out, and John Wick is what keeps him going. He was in Cyberpunk, and that ended up being a massive failure. And now I could imagine now they end up getting him for Old Republic and Rian Johnson's trilogy, and all three films are terrible.
No.
How funny for his career to be involved in so many big franchises and big budget films, only for them to be bad. And I just think that if that does happen, I feel like it's almost inevitable. Like it just follows suit with Keanu Reeves, man. But I love the guy. I want to see him be in a fucking sick ass film again. Aside,
Yeah.
but wait, no, there's a new John Wick coming, isn't there?
Yeah, and a Matrix 4. John Wick 4 and Matrix
they
4.
They were filming Matrix 4 when I was up there.
In the UK?
In San Francisco.
Yeah, they did it in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I remember seeing the tweet about someone doing it, and I was literally like in that area, and I don't remember what the district was. I was literally in that area when I saw it. I was like, "Oh shit, dude!"
That's
and I went down there to see if it was still closed off and everything. But nope, gone. They were there for like a second and then left. But that would have been so sick to just see that hair flowing in the wind. One of those things.
To be in the same vicinity as Keanu Reeves.
Like this was before Zach had hair, so I didn't get to see his hair flow in the wind. But Keanu Reeves is like a close second.
Well, I did have a hair, it just wasn't,
it wasn't flowing in the wind. Sure.
Hair versus
Zach was
flow.
bald.
Yeah, I've been bald until recently.
He used chia seeds, and
A chia
that's
pet?
that's not actually hair. It's just a bunch of.
It's a wig.
Yeah, no, it's plants. Like the chia pets, like you put like the seeds in the pot. Do you ever see those commercials?
Well, I'm gonna split the difference between your two opinions on Rian Johnson. I think that he certainly could make a good trilogy because he's not reliant on J.J. Abrams for the other parts. He certainly has the talent. He's proven that he can make good movies and shows in the past, but leaning more towards Alex's side, I don't think he deserves another shot at Star Wars. I think he did irreparable damage to Star Wars. Like he tanked that entire trilogy, like single-handedly, basically, with his movie. Crushed a lot of people, like took the fun out of Star Wars for them, and then just like set the fandom on fire and like pitted it against each other. So is Alex frozen? No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I don't think he should. I think it'd be stupid to give him a trilogy like after what he did. It would just bring back all the fighting and the just the flames around what he did.
It would just make Geeks and Gamers even bigger, and it would just annoy me. Not that I don't want them to be big. I'm just talking like in general of like all like the hate in my feed all the day. Like, dude, I can only handle so much negativity.
I'm just tired of it. Like I'm tired of all the fighting. Like
I'd rather have them talk about like the cool stuff about Star Wars, like they do too. I'd rather that be what they talk about as opposed to just how much they hate Rian Johnson for 3 more years. It'll be really irritating. But what was I gonna say?
Well, that is the argument though I see all the time on Twitter from the people who maybe don't necessarily love, I guess the people who love The Last Jedi and the people who don't exactly hate it. But I mean, does it say something? Is it noteworthy at all that he was able to create a film that we're all still here talking about several years after the fact, that we all will still probably be talking about in the future? Like, is that from your guys' standpoint, and I'm not saying I have a perspective on this at all, but is that noteworthy as a filmmaker to make something that is so controversial that people will always discuss it and have arguments about it?
I want to say no, because it was Star Wars. Like if it were just some average like property, sure. Like if Knives Out, yeah, like if Knives Out did the same thing, that'd be very impressive. Like that would be interesting. I'd actually like to see a movie that could do that wasn't tied to Star Wars. But I think Star Wars elevated the controversy for the fact that it was Star Wars. But yeah, what do you think, Alex?
Well, I think that the YouTubers that do this for a living with the video essays about Rian Johnson really put it on the head. I honestly can't really like point to what exactly it is that they say, because they say so much about it like in detail, and I honestly think that their whole perspective, just watch like Mahler or watch any of those guys, like they totally break down why his movies are terrible in regards to Star Wars, not other movies, but why what he did like in terms of like dividing the fan base actually isn't a good thing, and also just overall just was poorly executed. It's not like it was a beautifully executed divisive film. It was like a what the fuck, like Like it was more like the casual fans more identified with what he was doing because it was just casual and like they don't really care. Whereas people that actually do care noticed that it was like just poor filmmaking and very weak in quality, from what it could be with what he was given and all the opportunity, all the like resources he had at his disposal in that regard. But
No, can you explain? I love hearing you guys talk about like filmmaking because I can't. I'm so just like I watch any movie and I'm like, sure, it's fine, it's good. Like I don't know how to look at a movie and be like, this is poor, here's why. I don't have that education. Can you guys give like examples of like what about The Last Jedi is poor filmmaking in like layman's terms to someone who doesn't understand what dictates like good or bad?
well, you could literally just look at the script to answer all of that. For
Okay.
The Last Jedi. Like there's there's that whole thing with Finn and Rose where they're going to, what are they even doing? I totally forgot that movie, but they're
They
going to
were
like,
They were going to get the code breaker.
oh, they're going to get the code breaker and they end up like freeing animals anyway, but they totally ruin their entire mission. And then he said, oh, that's worth it. Do you think like when like your entire like, rebellion or your entire group of friends that you are up against, like, apparently the First Order is now like the new empire for some crazy reason, which we also don't know why in general. But like the fact that he would say something like that when the stakes are like that are not only so unrealistic, but just so unwarranted and so politically pushed. That's right. That's just one prime example of why the movie was so bad, because you can't get immersed in something that doesn't make sense to like most people.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even think that people watched that were like, you know what, I loved that they did that. It's like not only is their mission destroyed and they possibly ruined like they possibly killed they possibly are now killing off Carrie Fisher because of their stupidity in saving some random animals that no one ever heard about or knew until that episode. But now they they like are off on a mission for like 30 minutes of the film runtime, like running on them too, and then trying to escape from something that they shouldn't have even been involved in the first place. It's just like one of those things where it's like, if you're gonna have a plot like that, dive into the lore of Star Wars, dive into something that actually makes sense to the story. Instead of having like several C plots, you have like, your A and B. It's just like, it seemed like the movie was just a bunch of C plots all over the place, and then the A plot kind of like the movie kind of ended after like after Snoke died. And it was just kind of like, okay, what the fuck? Like, okay, that happened. That's subverting expectations. But now where are we going? And then it just kind of seemed to drag on nowhere until it finally did end nowhere.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think like filmmaking wise, it was like a great film, like filmmaking.
Yeah, like shot.
Yeah, his directorial style is fine. Like I enjoyed it
I
a
agree.
lot. It's just he failed as a storyteller in that film.
And that's the most important part.
Mhm.
Spectacles last, dude.
Yeah, he disregarded like any continuity that was established by the Star Wars universe. Like the Holdo maneuver was cool, like visually, but it doesn't make sense in Star Wars, because why wouldn't you just do that all the time? Why wouldn't you take these little small ships that can go to light speed and crash them into the big cruisers all the time? Like he didn't think about that. And I think he said in the past that he doesn't care about world building or like embellishing in the world at all, which is crucial for Star Wars. And he was just like, he did a bunch of other lazy things and like tongue-in-cheek things, like the iron press shot where it's like, oh, it's a ship. Nope, it's an ironing clothes. Is like, that was just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, stop parroting Star Wars in Star Wars. Like, you're not Spaceballs. Like, this is a Star Wars movie. Like, so that it was just things like that. And then like the dialogue was tonally, like the humor was not Star Wars. It was tonally off. Like so like they made like a your mom joke at the beginning, and I was like, oh Jesus, here
And
we
they use
go.
words. They use like what did Poe say? He's like, we're gonna get that damn ship. Or did he say hell? What did he say? He used a human word.
I think he said both damn and hell throughout the trilogy.
And it's like, okay, so I guess we're on Earth now. I don't know. It was just weird because it just totally took me out of it, because you don't hear words like that. You hear like, they're like a chuta or you know what I mean? It's like you hear like Huttese, or you hear another language. Like English wise, it's like you have your I guess English is like the Coruscant language, right? But they don't use, normal
Our curse
dialect.
words.
Yeah, they don't use, like it's just kind of like, I think it's because George made it for kids, I guess, essentially. So they don't curse. So it's like, you kind of, there's rules there. Like you just are used to not hearing that. And all of a sudden you hear it. It's like, well, why haven't they been using that in all of the other movies? And it can apply to pretty much anything story-wise in that entire show and that entire movie. But I just have to say that I think that like, most of the ideas that Rian came up with, or most of like the story moving forward, was kind of like a first draft. Like they kind of like they kind of thought about a bunch of ideas, and Rian was like, "What do you think about this?" And everyone was just like, "I mean, I'm getting paid a lot to do this. Let's do it." You know what I mean? I think you need to have to be a director and a writer. You need to be like the visionary that knows everything ahead of the game plan, and then you have your co-writers or whatever that work with him. Where it seems like Rian has such a big ego that he kind of thought up the ideas in the first draft and thought, "Oh, that's good enough. Let's do it." And no one else really challenged him.
Yeah,
and I think that's why the movie suffered like tremendously,
it's
because there was no collaborative nature there. I don't think.
It's
honestly.
kind of like you can draw a parallel from what you said, to the prequels. Like Lucas, people say that Lucas had too much creative control with the prequels.
Too many yes man.
Yes, the only difference is that George Lucas created Star Wars, so he inherently understands Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't think Rian Johnson does.
Yeah.
And that's really my big issue with having him get his own trilogy. I just don't think he's earned it. And I think in any industry, if you messed up at the magnitude that he messed up, you wouldn't get a glorious second chance like this served on a silver platter for you. Like it wouldn't happen. You would have to prove yourself with something smaller scale. Like maybe he can direct an episode of The Mandalorian and we can start from there. Like maybe he can write and direct an episode. I'd be open to that. Kind of as like here's a small last chance, and if you screw this up, then you're done. But definitely would not give him a trilogy, because I just don't, what good could come out of it? Like it's gonna cause so much fighting. It's just gonna be a mess.
That is true. And I guess everyone says Disney is just kind of money hungry and greedy, and that's their main drive or motivator. So it does, if that is the case, I'm not saying I believe that or whatnot. I don't know. But if that were the case and they just are driven by profit and thinking what's going to be the biggest blockbuster, what's going to be the best money move in the cinema, that is definitely a risky decision to proceed with that based on the reception of The Last Jedi and the way, it kind of tainted a lot of people's relationship with Star Wars and the criticism it has brought upon Disney and this huge, storm of division that we're in with the fandom. I if they are driven so much by money, then I guess it is like the why decision. Not that I'm saying, why Rian Johnson or anything, but like it definitely would be, if your main priority is to appease the fandom and make the most money, is this really the smartest move? Which is what shocked me when I saw that it was on. Because I know that it had fizzled out, and I don't know if anyone ever confirmed or denied that it's been like a very gray area, of whether or not his trilogy was going to come to fruition. But I genuinely was surprised for that reason, because I was like, are they trying to save face, or are they? Yeah, like it's just shocking. I sounded like Smeagol. It's just like shocking that they would do that, considering the reception that Solo had, which wasn't tied to Rian Johnson at all, but as the film that followed his did terribly, unfortunately. So I don't know.